This is another interesting edition of Business and Economy, where this time we'll be looking at another business development strategy in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, towards boosting wealth creation. I am Ile Emeja, your host. The Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, ACCI, as the name implies, is a conglomerate of businessmen and women whose interest is to project their business ideas for the mutual benefits of the society. They facilitate effective business policies, organize periodic skills acquisition and training schedules, as well as trade fairs and exhibitions towards enhancing trade and investment. As part of efforts to strengthening the economy of the Federal Capital Territory and Nigeria, the ACCI, in collaboration with the Cityscape Property, is embarking on the development of an ultra-modern shopping complex aimed at promoting business development opportunities, which will eventually raise the economic activities within the FCT, create wealth, raise the living standard, and cushion unemployment problems around the city. On this edition of the program, we shall be looking at business development in the Federal Capital Territory, the ACCI option. My guests are the Vice President and Project Committee Chairman, Mr. O.C. Imomo, and also the immediate past Vice President on Finance of the ACCI, Alhaji Usman Balarabe, who will be joining me after the business news to discuss the topic. Stay with us. In his welcome address at the groundbreaking ceremony of the Abuja Ultra-Modern Market, President of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, ACCI, Dr. Al-Mujtaba Abubakar, noted on relevance of the project.
This development is expected to transform the business space of Abuja and present a new model for shopping platforms in the city. The project will accomplish the Chamber's goal of enhancing and sustaining development of businesses in the Federal Capital Territory and lead the private sector in the delivery of sustainable growth and prosperity in commercial activities and businesses in Nigeria.
On their part, special guests of honor, including among others the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Malam Muhammad Musa Bello, and that of Industry, Trade and Investment, Otumba Adeni Adebayo, expressed optimism that the project will further stimulate economic activities while complementing government efforts.
This new shopping center is yet another testament to their commitment to driving economic growth and creating employment opportunities for our people. The FCT administration is indeed proud to be associated with this project, as this shopping center would provide a platform for business to thrive and contribute to the beautification of the city.
I wish to highlight that the establishment of the ACCI Ultra-Modern Shopping Center is very timely, as it will boost economic growth and development in Nigeria. As you all know, markets are important building blocks of any prosperous economy. Buying and selling, the exchange of goods and services always generate the momentum that result in more economic growth. This project is designed to accomplish the Chamber's goal of promoting the growth and development of businesses in the FCT and supporting the private sector in maintaining sustainable progress and prosperity in commercial activities in Nigeria.
We have put every structural and environmental consideration in place to ensure that this ACCI Ultra-Modern Shopping Center will not only be a shopping center, but will contribute to making the FCT a more resilient city, create jobs, improve the economy of the city, provide better access to market for SMEs, make profit for our businesses, and also to provide the much needed tax stream to sustain the FCT and Nigeria at large.
The height of the event was the laying of the foundation by stakeholders present.
Thank you.
Round of applause.
Okay, sir.
Look up.
Okay, sir.
The Cultural Heritage Group was not left out of the celebration.
Thank you very much.
Ile Emeje, ASO Television News. So glad to have you join us at this time when we are looking at the business development strategy of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, and the issues surrounding it. My guests are Mr. O.C. Imomo, who is the Vice President of Information and Communications Technology, ICT, and the Chairman, Project Committee of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So you are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. And I also have, as my special guest, the immediate past Vice President of Finance, Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Alhaji Usman Balarabe. Alhaji, you are welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, from our introduction, you heard analysis about the business strategy in the Federal Capital Territory, and the FCT is said to be the fastest developing city in the world. I want to start with you. How true is that?
Well, I think it's true. If you look at all the indices, a new capital, so many structures coming up, it's the fastest growing city. I agree with that. I do.
Okay. Do you have anything to add to that? Do you believe that the FCT is the fastest developing city in the whole of the world?
Well, I think I will agree in that it's a new city. A lot of people are migrating to Abuja, coming to work, coming to do business, and also to set up their own businesses, and that's why it's growing. And the federal government is doing its best to make sure the infrastructure are there to support all this business coming up.
Okay. Infrastructures are there to support all the businesses coming up. Okay, let's talk about the micro, small and medium enterprises. We all know that world over, it is believed that the MSMEs are the major drivers of any economy in the world, including Nigeria and FCT in focus, that which is our focus. Now, what has the ACCI put in place to facilitate the growth of MSMEs in the FCT and by extension, international trade? I want to repeat it. Micro, small and medium enterprises are the drivers of most economies of the world, anywhere in the world, including Nigeria. And since today we are talking about the Federal Capital Territory, we are also saying that MSMEs are the drivers of the business development sector of the Federal Capital Territory. But again, what has the ACCI put in place to facilitate the growth of MSMEs in the Federal Capital Territory and by extension, international trade? Because I know that the boost of international trade is one of your major mandates. That is major mandate of the ACCI. Can you tell us what you have put in place to boost MSMEs in the Federal Capital Territory?
Well, I'm glad to say that ACCI has been in the forefront of promoting businesses in Abuja and by extension to Nigeria. By the way it has formulated itself and also arranged its own activities. Inside the chamber, we have a kind of structure that is very supportive of the business, because we bring members of all business types in the country, that is manufacturing, distributing, merchandising, or construction services, and we do that. And we try to, inform them of the activities of similar organizations around the world. At the same time, arrange exhibitions for them, arrange business meetings with outside businesses. We also arrange trade fairs outside the country for them to go and see what is happening there, link up with other businesses so they can come and set up similar things in Nigeria. At the same time, we have a training center whereby they inculcate new ideas of business, especially in this age of technology. That's part of what we do. And we have a structure that is very supportive in that we have vice presidents that are in charge of different sectors that we take as major sectors. And also that will help in developing the business so that the people will be up to date, and also they'll be linked with other similar business around Africa and the world as a whole.
Okay. Sir, let's look at information and communications technology, the adoption of technology. The world is going digital. And how about ACCI? What technology approach have you put in place to ensure that the businesses in the Federal Capital Territory are stimulated?
Well, first of all, let me expatiate on what Alhaji said, that ACCI now has over 2,000 members.
2,000 members?
Yes. And a large chunk of that membership is derived from the MSMEs, right? And what we try to do is to promote their businesses and encourage them to do better. We run a lot of training programs. All right. For example, you mentioned ICT now. We have run programs in collaboration with the Germans on ICT. They came and spent quite a number of months training our members on how to improve on their business using technology. All right. So we're actually in the forefront of ensuring that these small businesses grow their potentials by applying technology skills and information skills as well.
Okay. If you are asked to rate the impact of the training or ICT technology, as the case may be, on the businesses we have in the Federal Capital Territory, what will be your trend?
In terms of percentage?
In terms of percentage.
Well, I'll give our ACC, I'll give us 80%.
I'm sure
we're doing very well. We're doing good. Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned training, trade exhibitions, trade fairs, and the rest of them. Can we actually say that this also has impacted the economy of the Federal Capital Territory, given the level of unemployment we have, not just in the Federal Capital Territory, but across the country?
Yeah, let me give you an example. Last year we had a trade fair, and over 4,000 exhibitors were there, drawn mostly from businesses around Abuja.
Okay.
So what's all about? If they come and exhibit their goods, it opens up their markets, right? And what also happens is that businesses also come from outside Nigeria to participate in this trade fair. So there's a networking that goes on between exhibitors and foreigners, between people who have come to the trade fair and foreigners. So it's a good place for business to be done, and we have achieved quite a lot, and I'm happy about what we're doing there at the trade fair.
Okay. Okay, away from that now, it is common practice across countries of the world that economic downturn is a factor impacting negatively on small businesses. In Nigeria of today, the case is worse with the recent cash crunch of the Central Bank of Nigeria resulting from the cashless policy and then joining other challenges. What can we say as of the moment that the MSMEs can do? What can we do? When I say we now, I refer to the ACCI. What are we doing to ensure that these MSMEs can remain in business, especially with the adoption of technology?
Okay.
To meeting up with the challenges of the global economic meltdown.
Yeah, this cash wahala affected everybody, not only the MSMEs, everybody. But I'm glad that gradually we're coming out of it now. Yeah, if you go to the banks now, they're paying out cash. It kind of crunched the economy, not just MSMEs, but everybody. Right? But I'm sure that they're picking up. If you go down, get to the bottom, the only way to come out is to climb out. Is that correct? So we're at the bottom, but I'm sure that we're all climbing out now. Okay. And I hope that in the near future, things will get better.
All right. So you were the just immediate past Vice President on Finance of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I'm sure that some of our viewers and followers may wish to know if there is any support in terms of maybe soft loan or soft credits that can support the MSMEs in the Federal Capital Territory by your chamber?
Yeah, well, directly for us, we don't support financially our members, but we link them up with financial institutions and other financial organizations that support businesses. We also link them up with government agencies that promote the development of small and medium-scale enterprises in the country, by also introducing them to other international organizations that support them, either with a grant, with technology, with training, or with soft loan for that, or grant, especially that in the special area where it needs to be developed and to get people to be interested in that area. So that's part of what we do. But what we can do is to recommend, the authenticity of the businesses that are under our register. Because we don't just register, we take trouble to investigate and also do due diligence on each company that comes to us.
Verification.
Exactly. We make sure that you are duly registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission, you have got a self-registration, and you are also doing your necessary statutory duties, or maybe filing your annual returns and the rest. And also each year we gather together under the umbrella of the trade fair. We also have teams under that, and we also talk. We invite government agencies, we invite the government itself. They come and interact with the business, so they will tell them their problems, and then they go back to the office and see how they can plan to assist. Like in the case of where they complain of high interest rate, we talk about. We even have a policy advocacy center in the chamber, whereby we sit down, we articulate the problems of businesses, and then we provide solutions, and then we communicate with the government. We are a development partner to the government. We are always in link with the government, so that we tell them the feedback from the business community, and sometimes they call us, they're asking for advice or this or that, so that we make an input so that everything will be fine.
All right. Just recently, sir, the chamber unveiled plans for an ultra-modern shopping center, which was unveiled last week. We were all there. And the question is, what is the relevance of such a center to individuals and the country in general?
Well, it's quite easy to answer. It's to develop the business environment in Abuja. We have this massive piece of land, and what to do with it, just more than to encourage businesses in Abuja to do better. We have markets around the place, but this one was specially planned and designed to take cognition of the high-end markets, if you know what I mean now, because when that place is finished, it's going to be more like a tourist attraction for people around FCT and even from around the country. So we had space, and we know that there's a market for shops in Abuja. That's why we went into it.
Okay, and so many Nigerians will wish to know what difference this would make, given the high prices of already built plazas and markets, which is beyond the reach of the ordinary Nigerian. When you say you want to encourage Nigerians, I'm sure the unemployed also are in focus in this particular plan that the ACCI unveiled last week. How do you think this will be? This will not be priced out of the reach of the ordinary Nigerian, given the scenario of what had happened before. There are so many plazas built in Abuja. There are so many market stalls built across the city. But at the end of it all, do I say the Nigerian factor will come in such that an ordinary Nigerian will not be able to have access to some of these complex, the shopping complex or the stalls that will be built thereafter?
Well, trust us. Before we went into this venture, we did proper feasibility.
Okay.
All right. We're a group of businessmen. I know very well-trained businessmen that we don't go into any venture without feasibility. And in that feasibility, we discovered that there are about 58 estates in that environment, in that community. 58
in the community where the shopping complex is.
Yes, if you from the gates towards the airport, there are 58 estates. And then we know there's a demand for shops because people want to do some shopping will have to drive into town
Okay.
to get the shopping done. So with these shops now, we have about 2,424 shops coming up there. People will have the availability of buying what they want close to where they live instead of driving down into the city center. All right, that's one of the reasons why this is what. But we did our work very well, and we know that people will buy those shops.
Yes, I know that people will even rush.
I know you
because
buy
of the-
one.
I hope so. If they're nice, that will lead me to the next question. You know, people like me, who is
Yes.
a public servant,
Yes.
whose income, you know, we are within an income level. What do you have any arrangement for, maybe mortgage arrangement for people like the public servants or middle or low income earners, as the case may be?
Well, I think Cityscape, they are very nice people, and they have a good bank backing them up. I'm sure in future they will arrange for this kind of facility for people who cannot pay outright.
Outrightly.
Yes, to stagger their payments
Okay.
and see how it goes. I think it's something we can explore, and we'll get back to everybody about it.
The immediate past vice president is here on finance. Maybe you can tell us if the ACCI is putting up maybe plans to help link maybe some persons that are interested in having these shops at the complex. Maybe there is a mortgage arrangement which the ACCI is working on to encourage us.
Well, we are taking this step by step. Step number one is for people who can afford to buy these shops, then they can come and buy. And besides, it's not a lump sum payment that's required. It's going to be over a period of 12 months from what I know.
Okay.
So that you pay the first 50%, then after 3 months you pay another 25%. Then by the time it's 12 months, you would have finished paying. Then you just take your key and start using your place. But for the people that cannot afford it right away, there's already a discussion going on between the chamber and the Cityscape developers that if they can soften the terms of payments, spread it longer, and even reduce the percentages so that, you know, as an example now, instead of 50%, let somebody pay 20, 30 or 40% at the initial start, that with the application. Then that means you are committed. Then after a period of, instead of maybe 3 months, let's make it 5 months, 6 months, so that you pay another fraction of that money. And that is one of this. And also, we are going to propose to them as our loud thinking that let them talk to their bank in conjunction with the chamber, so that since they are the ones that are co-financing the project, then we can recommend somebody that can come as a member of the chamber. We'll do it for our members. For those that are outside our membership, then we have to do another thinking about them. And then so that we can support our members, they go to the bank and they get the support, you know, and make payments. And from their own business, from their own incomes, they make payment direct into the account with the bank.
Okay.
The bank is already supporting this kind of purchase of houses, cars, this thing under some guideline. Now the same thing can be applied to these shops, because the money remains with the bank. You make your earnings, your businesses, you deposit in the bank. Then part of it is taken and paid for the shop. So everything is an internal transfers. And then by the time you finish, then the shop becomes yours. That's part of what we are thinking.
All right.
And in addition to what my chairman said, one of the advantages of that place is that we are now looking at African free trade, you know, activities.
Agreement,
And the whole Africa wants to integrate. Before that, on a smaller scale, we have West African Chambers of Commerce, which also is an integration of. Now, we are going to propose that these people, they come and take interest in these shops, so that it becomes international, not just Nigeria or just Abuja or FCT. By the time we do that, we are putting the seed for the integration of African businesses in Abuja. Already the minister spoke about the coming up of this shop as an integral part of the development of the African Free Trade Association. So that's part of our strategy. And I think we are going to develop more on that one and get some more people to come and take interest, so that, you know, we make it international and everyone will benefit.
All right. But again, a lot of people that have accessed a mortgage, maybe credit through mortgage before now, have laid a lot of complaints on hidden charges. either from the bank or the estate owners or the donors of the plaza or markets, as the case may be. What are you doing with the cityscape? What arrangement do you have in the area of monitoring and supervision on those hidden charges, so that if, for example, people are coming through for a mortgage arrangement, the charges will not be overbloated?
Okay. Now, let me just take one example of Jaiz Bank. Jaiz Bank is doing purely Islamic banking.
Yeah.
Now, what they would do is when you come to and say, look, I want to buy a shop from Cityscape and the ACCI. Okay, what the cost of the shop is this X amount.
Yeah.
Okay, now, we are going to buy this shop for ourselves as a bank. And then we add our profit. They will discuss the profit. How much are you going to ask profit? And then they add it together. And now this is the total amount you are going to pay. I'm not an expert on that one, but this is the basic thing I know. That they tell you in advance how much is the profit. They add it to the cost of the shop, and then they stagger the payment so that you'll be able to. So you know exactly what you are going to pay. Any other charges, they will discuss you in advance. That is what I know of Jaiz Bank, because I once applied take a loan from them to buy a land, which I saw I didn't have enough money. And this was the process, unless if things have changed due to maybe some new innovation or some new introduction of processes.
Okay. For the
I think it's an opportunity for cooperative societies to delve into this activity, because yes, because they have a large chunk of money, and they can actually help their members to get involved in this, because the chamber, according to what you have said, will not get involved in this financial engineering stuff.
Okay.
You get my point? So it's going to be between you as a buyer, right, and your bank that's going to finance you.
Okay.
All right. I'm sure that Cityscape will also maybe they'll be coming here next week, I think. Yeah, to also explain that linkage between buyer, mortgage companies and themselves.
Okay, because
but the chamber is not going to get involved. We have our own members, right?
Okay.
We have our members who will have priority over purchase of the shop. So come and join us. We have.
You see what I was saying? I hope the Nigerian factor will not come, because we want to get it for the members. He may want to get it for maybe members of his family.
no, because to be frank, that's the benefit of being a member.
Yes.
Okay.
You get my point? I can't see my member asking for a shop, then an outsider comes and I give the outsider first. You know, I have to serve them before. Well, the shops are very many. We're talking about 2,424 shops.
Okay,
so,
for the benefit
yeah,
of
so
those
it's open. It's open to everybody. People will get what they want.
For the benefit of those people that are following us on the program now, and they are interested, maybe cooperatives or associations, as the case may be, what is the eligibility? How can they go about it? They want to maybe register their cooperative society with the ACCI. What are the processes to follow?
No,
what's the first thing to do? What next?
I don't think they need to do that. When they are registered cooperative, they have their own rules and regulations, which they will follow as members. And then how to deposit money on a regular basis, also how to withdraw using the money for business or for your other personal needs. So those rules are the ones that will be the guiding principle, and the relationship is 100% direct between you and your cooperative. What happens is that when you want to buy the shop, you go to your cooperative, say, look, I am a member, and I have been saving for X number of years, and I want to buy this shop, and the amount is this much. I want to borrow that money, and I will pay over a period of time. If it's going to be 12 months or 24 months or 6 months, you say, then they will draw up the agreement with you, and they will pay. And they are going to pay according to the time specified by the developer Cityscape. But then if you bring the whole money 100%, yes, they will welcome it. But if you follow that, okay, 50% first, and then 25%, yes, it's okay. Then the corporate will key into that and know how they can arrange their cash flow to be able to satisfy their members at the right time. Okay. So the chamber will not intervene, you know, in this matter, except that the shops are there. We are ready to part with them in the partnership with the developers, so that you get the benefits of the whole thing. Okay.
Can you also say that this is a requirement for an automatic participation in the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement?
It's not a qualification, but it's an encouragement.
Okay.
Yeah, because we want integrate, and the more people that key into these programs, the better. That's just one of the projects we have on ground now. We are proposing others. But it's not for me to speak. My chairman is here. When we are ready, you can invite him again.
Maybe you say something. You say something to for the benefit of those who are following us. They are following us. They are with us on the program now, and they may want to know: is it a requirement for the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement after? If, for example, I have a shop in the complex, maybe I'm selling ABC product. Can I also take my product to the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, maybe to all the countries that are registered under the AFTA?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Barab Musa is an expert in that African stuff, so maybe you should throw more light on that. I don't see why it will be a difficulty.
Okay.
I don't see why it will be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, let me ask: do we have specific products that will be allowed to be traded on the complex? For example, do we say only agricultural products?
No, we don't
or
have that.
all MSMEs?
No, we don't have that restriction. But we prefer manufacturing to be there because no nation develops without manufacturing sector being at the top. Even if you are the biggest distributor like Hong Kong, they still have to venture into manufacturing because for somebody to produce or you to sell is not good enough. You have to be also a producer. But the problem is Africa is so large and we are not that advanced in technology and also production facilities. But with this come out of this African Free Trade association, we'll be able to produce based on our own speciality, based on our own economic advantages in each of the areas. So that what is produced in Ghana, which is not available in Nigeria, which is easier to produce in Ghana, is be brought to Nigeria and other African countries. Okay. And the same thing with Nigeria, the same with Gabon, the same thing with South Africa. But the advantage of that shopping complex, if the members are to key in, is that all the products available being produced in Africa can be found there. Okay. And the people that are in South Africa, they are in Botswana, they are in Namibia, they can be here. And when they come here, they are setting up their own businesses. So there is a link. And from here, it goes export to Europe and Americas and the Far East. That's the advantage we are looking at. That's why we don't want to constrain as just a local Nigerian business. We want it to expand to be a foundation for the African business because we have to be the promoters. We know we are the organized private sector initiators. So we want to initiate this so that people will, speed up. We speed up the process of the integration in our own little way. Because Abuja is just one of the cities that we can talk of. There are many other cities that even produce more businesses than Abuja. Because Abuja is a new city compared to Lagos, compared to Ibadan, compared to Kano, Kaduna, and Jos and other areas.
Okay. We take a short break now and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
We are a nation blessed with people of diverse cultures, religions, languages, and opinions. It is ironic that we are now being ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we would realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite. This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of ASO Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, ASO Television DSTV Channel 392, Star Times Terrestrial Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, People's TV Channel 285, and UHF Channel 38.
In case you just joined us, you are onto Business and Economy program on ASO Television and Radio Services, and we are looking at the business development strategy of the Federal Capital Territory. Our guests are still here, and the first guest we have is Mr. O.C. Imomo, who is the Vice President on Information and Communications Technology and the Chairman Project Committee of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, ACCI. And then we also have the immediate past Vice President on Finance of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Haji Usman Balarabe. Okay, let's look at the last Abuja International Trade Fair, which was marred with a lot of problems ranging from, among others, the necessary hike in price, inability of participants to obtain clearance from the custom, and the rest of them. How can the ACCI assure Nigerians that the ultra-modern shopping complex, when built, will not suffer manipulation and insiders dealing? Like I think we were discussing something like that. A lot of participants, mainly from Ghana, who granted us interview at the last trade fair, were not happy. They expressed their dissatisfaction because of the seizure of their goods by the Nigerian customs, and those goods, according to them, were not released to meet up with the international trade fair. So what is the assurance that there won't be any manipulation as it has to do with insiders' decision, as the case may be?
Okay, we can't pretend we're not aware of those issues that cropped up, yes. And I want to inform the general public, and if possible, to our Ghanaian participants, that we apologize for those slips, okay, I'll call them. But we are this year going to do a lot of changes, you get my point, to make sure we ameliorate all those problems. Okay. And those who are coming for this year's trade fair will find a lot of difference between what happened last year and this year. We started planning already. Okay. We do our planning long term, so we started planning already, and all those shortfalls, all those problems that came out from last year have been looked at, and we can assure everybody that this time around we're going to do it better.
Okay.
Yes.
And as we are aware that the problem of technology, do I call it technology enhancement programs like training, has been a major problem for so many of our MSMEs, especially those of them that are coming from the rural areas. They have the problem of how to operate the technological innovations we have, and this also, we can say, has hampered the development or the growth of MSMEs in Nigeria. What are you, as an ACC Vice President, what are you doing as a regulatory body for all these MSMEs, doing in the area of training for these MSMEs handlers?
You know, like I told you earlier, we have this. We have 4 centers in Abuja, ACCI, and one of them is called the Best Center, where we undertake training for all sorts of things, with accounting and all that. And I think there were some people that came from Germany that took part in this training of technology thing.
For MSMEs?
Yeah. I think a lot of them came in. I think it ran for a couple of weeks. Okay. A couple of weeks. And I think we're going to build that up to make sure that our members, like I'm telling you now, out of the 2,000 members we have, a large chunk of that membership is SMEs. A large chunk. So we are poised to make sure that they get the best out of what the chamber can offer. And it's an ongoing thing, and they will know that it will last for quite some while. Okay, from the training, can you say of a truth that a lot of MSMEs and small business entrepreneurs also have gained some
kind of skills in technology that can help them deliver in the area of their
Yes, if they don't have it, we'll help them to achieve it.
Okay.
That's the whole idea why we're there. Networking, training, and all that. If they don't have it, then it's left for us as the chamber to ensure that they benefit from the membership by being trained on ICT.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. What support or assistance would the ACCI require from the government, especially the FCT administration?
I think from a personal perspective,
Yeah.
what we refer to government as we're not a grade A chamber. I don't know whether you understand what that means. You know, chambers
Yes,
are normally based in
grade A, B, yeah.
So we're not a grade A, that is, we're not a national chamber.
Yeah.
We're not just Abuja, we're not a national chamber. So I think it will help the government if before they carry out this annual budgetary plans and all that, if they kind of interact with us.
Okay.
You get the point? So we can give them the feelers of how our members think about what's going on in government, how they can improve businesses in the environment. They can also come to us and ask us about taxation. We can advise them on taxation, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's not a do alone thing. It has to be a partnership between the business environment and government. I think that's one area where we should, or please the government to start looking at. Interacting with the business environment represented by ACCI, and from their own end, so we can work together in achieving the goals of government and all parties.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alhaji Balarabe is the head of finance of the ACCI. If you have the opportunity to meet with the FCT minister, what advice can you advance?
My advice for us to achieve greater achievements in the management and the success of our MSC, I think is good if the minister will consider, number one, easing up the traffic in Abuja. Easing up traffic in the sense that there are some roads that are already mapped out, but they have not been developed. Now, since it requires a lot of money to develop a full sketch of roads, let them open up, even if it is, you know, like they do in Saudi Arabia. Because in Saudi Arabia, what they do is they take a large chunk of land, they partition it into plots, and then they develop the roads. And they put the power there, they put the drainage, and then they don't have to go to the extent of putting the tar, that's the last layer. You know, so people can start using that area. So if you are going from point A to point B, and you know you have a business meeting, and you are going to be caught up in traffic, you can divert and use some of those, you know, roads. That's part one of them. And another thing is there should be closer cooperation between, even closer cooperation than we have now between the chamber and the Abuja administration, because we are partners in development, and we are here to assist. And we are not an opposition party, we are partners. You know, yes. Because what the FCT wants is what we want, and we are the engine that moves everything. Their own is policy making, our own is to implement, because we have the membership, and the members cut across all the sectors of the economy. So they are needed really to develop FCT to a better city and a bigger one also.
Okay, as we round up, what else do you want FCT residents to know about your project and to have big interest in it?
Yeah, what I want to tell FCT residents is that if you're a businessman and you are not a member of ACCI, this is the right time to join, because we are there to help you as a businessman to do your business better. All right, this is an appeal to people out there who are running businesses who are not yet our members.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. And with that appeal, we have come to the end of today's edition of Business and Economy. And we have been speaking with the Vice President and Project Committee Chairman of the ACCI, Mr. O.C. Imomo. So I want to thank you for finding time to be on today's edition of the program.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And we also have been speaking with the just past immediate Vice President on Finance of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, in person of Alhaji Usman Balarabe. Alhaji, I want to thank you for also coming on the program.
Thank you very much for having us. Thank you so much.
All right. And to you, our esteemed viewers and listeners out there, I want to thank you for finding time to branch off on today's edition of the program. Join us again for a better, interesting episode next time on the same station. Have a great day.